Hey, well, good morning. It's Brian up here in Kingfield, Maine. Love drop D. Hey, it's Brian. It's April 14th, Sunday morning. I gotta go to work today, so I thought I would try to get this video posted up on the listing I just did. This morning I have a 60's, I would say between 63 and 69, based on the script headstock logo, the Harmony. A 60's Harmony H1260 Sovereign Jumbo. This is the, I like to call him the stairway guitar. The legend is Jimmy Page had a 1260 Sovereign, and he wrote like the first 4 Led Zeppelin albums on it. He loved the way it sounded in various tunings and voicings. And the intro to Stairway to Heaven, the acoustic portion, was recorded on one of these. Now, these came originally ladder braced. It is a solid spruce top, mahogany back and sides, jumbo, 25 1/8" scale, 1 3/4" nut, Brazilian rosewood fretboard, and originally would have had a string through bridge. These came ladder braced, which I'm a big fan of ladder bracing. I've got a Recording King, which is like a Kalamazoo made by Gibson. LOO, it's awesome. Great Robert Johnson bluesy sound. But honestly, for a big giant piece of spruce top like this, converting these to X bracing is what I like to do. If you change them to X, you get increased sustain, you get, better tone in my opinion. They're louder, and it's just more stable. I now have a nice flat top. This thing had a pretty good belly to it. The ladder bracing doesn't deal with that bellying. Also, the string through bridges had a tendency to want to pull up from the back. So this one was in rough shape. When I got a hold of this, someone had gone at it with like 80 grit and an orbital sander, and it was not relicked, it was just beat. And it was gray, the wood was terrible looking, there was dings and hacks everywhere, the worst of which I'll show you here in a minute around the neck joint. So this one has had a full refinish as well as all the internal work. So, on the bench, what did I do to this? I take the backs off, take all the binding off first, pull the back, and I reduce the back braces from 5 to 4. 4 is sufficient on any size guitar, and it just takes a tiny bit of weight out of there. Then, onto the top. From the inside, in the back, I use my orbital sander, which can be used as a good thing if you're not tearing the outside of finish off, and I thin the tops down. These generally had about 1/8 inch thick top, 0.125 to 0.130. I like to get them down to about 0.105, a little over 1/10 inch thick. I then change the bracing over to a standard 98-degree X bracing, somewhat forward shifted. It's not an inch back from the sound hole. It's about 1.5 inches. So it's, a little bit forward, but not as forward shifted as like an HD28 Martin or something. It's got 2 tone bars down in the belly. It's got finger braces on the sides. It's got a main rock maple, sugar maple bridge plate underneath that's about the same size as the footprint of the bridge. It's 1/10 inch thick. I then carve a pin bridge out of rosewood. This is Indian rosewood. So now it's working with pins instead of with a string through. It's got a brand new bone saddle. It does have the original nut, a nylon nut. I like to use original whenever I can. But it really just changes the whole voicing of this thing. I mean, it's just a shimmery sound now. It's got incredible lows. Play-wise, it plays great. I've got about 0.080 at the low E at the 12th fret, about 0.065 at the high E, so that's like 5/64 and 4/64. Frets themselves, I did mention in my listing, up in the cowboy chords, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on video or not, it does have some fret wear, and I would even call it as far as moderate. I've dressed them, I recrowned it, and it really doesn't affect any play. I mean, it's all, you don't feel it, there's no notching to it or anything, but it's there. Other flaws, let's talk about the flaws on this thing. Like I said, 80 grit, orbital, looks like when he was stripping it, went up into the neck heel. This side is worse. It had a chip missing. That's been refilled with mahogany dust and CA glue. It's smooth. You don't feel it, but it's obviously visible. There was a small surface crack right here. There it is. You can see that well. Looks like your basic shrinking pickguard crack. However, when I had the back off and I was shining a light through that, I don't see it coming all the way through. So it's almost like it started and it never quite made it all the way. Back cracks here, they were pretty significant. Had a big chip out of the edge. It's hard to do this with a camera. My fingers move the wrong way. Those are all cleated and in great shape. Also, when I was peeling binding, this had been stripped down so thin that the original, I don't think I saved it, but maybe I got a piece right over here. Some of the original, no, I lost it. The original cream colored binding there was nothing left. And so I decided just to kind of give it a different look, I put this tortoise on there. And this is celluloid, this is not ABS, so this is the stuff you got to pay the hazmat fees to get. So nice red tortoise. I think the black pickguard really kind of offset, gave that tortoise a nice look. Kind of gives it the Martin D18 look now. Does have the original tuners, and you'll see here in just a second when I tune up that the low E is stiff. The rest of them are very smooth. Low E is stiff, but it works perfectly. So you just got to sort of get a good grip on it. And there it is. It's got a nice comfortable string spacing for fingerstyle. And I gotta do it just because it's this guitar, so. Anyway, 9 minutes. That's about the cutoff point for me for videos. 1960s Harmony H1260 Sovereign. Solid spruce top. Solid mahogany back and sides. Completely restored, refinished. X-brace. Fret dressing. New bridge. What else do I got to say about that? That's about it. Thanks a lot for watching. See ya.